What's up, guys? So 4 years ago, we made a life-changing decision. We left the United States and we moved to the Dominican Republic. Now, what started in my mind as beaches, sunshine, and a whole lot of good times turned into a much deeper journey, one that completely reshaped my mindset and also my mental health. So today I want to talk honestly about how moving abroad not only shifted where I live, but how I live. And after 4 years, I can say it has been a journey of expected and also unexpected challenges, incredible growth, and a perspective shift that honestly I never saw coming. So if you've ever felt stuck, you have felt burned out and just going through the motions, or if you're simply curious how a change of scenery, just a simple change of scenery, can affect your inner world, then this video might be for you. Now, before I packed my bags and said goodbye to everything that was familiar to me and moved, I really didn't realize how heavy life in the US was actually weighing on me. It's almost like you're on a treadmill, but you just can't step off. Life started to feel a little predictable and maybe even a little suffocating. The pressures at work, bills flowing in, the anxiety. I remember waking up feeling anxious, going to bed mentally drained, and thinking to myself, is this all that life has to offer? And there was not a lot of space just to be. And deep down inside, I knew something was missing. That type of mental load is not always obvious when you're in it. I always say that when you're in the belly of the beast, it's hard to kind of see what's really going on. But once you step outside of it, you realize it. And looking back, I could see how exhausted I used to be every single day. I remember feeling like just because I was working this 9 to 5, I was just feeling like I wasn't living up to my full potential. And honestly, my mental health started to reflect that. Man, you ask my wife, man, I used to complain all the time. And it wasn't the type of complaining where I was complaining and I wasn't doing anything about it. I was always doing something about it because I knew that I was going to get out of that mess. And I still was complaining, so I know that it was affecting my mental health. And here, I work way more than I did when I was in the United States. I had way more responsibilities and obligations, I feel, here than when I was in the United States. But I feel much better. I don't feel anxious. I don't feel that anxiety. I don't feel like something is missing in my life now. And I can remember back in those days, it almost seemed like it was yesterday, like daily my joy was starting to fade. My mindset was fixed. I had a certain way of seeing the world, and breaking out of it at the time, it really seemed impossible. But one thing I did was I stayed focused, because in the back of my mind, I knew what I was doing was for a bigger purpose. But I will say this, because people see me now and they think the decision was an easy decision. Yes, the decision was easy, but actually doing it was a difficult one. My desire to move abroad, or our desire to move abroad, was born out of the desire for change, yearning for something more. And I couldn't even articulate what that more was at the time. All I know was I needed something more. And yes, I doubted myself countless of times. Yes, there was a fear of leaving a support system. And just the thought of the logistics of moving was overwhelming at times. And I remember the exact moment when I quit my job. It felt like a leap of faith, a jump into the unknown. And yes, there were moments leading up to me quitting that I questioned every single thing. Wondering, was I making a big mistake? Wondering, was I running from my problems? But beneath that fear, there was a sense of excitement and a sense of possibility. And when I first got to Dominican Republic, I was still thinking, did I make the right decision or not? It took a while for this thought to actually leave my mind. And that initial excitement kind of died down just a little bit because I had to face the realities of building a new life here from scratch. The pace was slower, people took their time, nothing was as efficient as I was used to. That shift from a high stress environment to a low stress environment, it was kind of difficult. I know it sounds crazy, but it was kind of difficult. I was still operating in US mode, rushing, over planning, and stressing about things that really didn't even matter in this new environment. But then I slowly started to notice some things. The slower pace, it wasn't a flaw. It was the point. It's the objective. Here, people value presence. They talk to their neighbors. They take breaks. They don't live just to work. And then I began to ask myself, what was I really rushing for all those years? And as I asked these questions, slowly but surely, I started to see a shift. For me, one of the turning points for this shift was when I used to go out and handle business and things like that. I know this may sound crazy, but people used to ask me, like when I went to get my gym membership, they asked, what's your address? And I would give them my address. Or they would ask me when I'm doing business, or even when I meet people, do you live here? And I would say, yes, I live here. You know, it's not like when you're here vacationing and people say, oh, where you stay? Oh, I got an Airbnb over here. Or, you know, I'm at a resort here in Punta Cana. I'm at the Dreams Resort per se. I was actually telling people my address or where I live. I was actually writing this stuff down. And that's when it really all clicked to me that you're here. You have to fall in line. You have to shift your mindset. And that's when I started to embrace the challenges instead of being overwhelmed by them. Like, people always complain about the traffic. I always use this as an example because that's the number one things people complain about when it comes to Santo Domingo is the traffic or the driving. I embrace it. I'm not gonna be overwhelmed by what goes on in the streets when it comes to people driving in the traffic. Why? Why get myself worked up over something that I have no control over? And then my mindset started to evolve from curiosity to possibilities. I stopped being curious about every little thing and started focusing on what are the possibilities for me here. And that's when I realized that stepping outside of my comfort zone was not a punishment. It was really an opportunity for me to grow. And day by day, I started to feel a little bit more relaxed. I was sleeping better. We had time to go out. I had time to myself to just sit on my balcony and have a drink and smoke a cigar. And that anxiety that I once felt, it just started to fade to the background. It was just background noise at that point. And believe it or not, I felt more creative because I had opened up my mind to so many other things than to sit around here and complain about everything. And this shift wasn't just emotional, it was also physical. I started to look a little bit more healthier. You know what I'm saying? Your boy looking guapo. I started to smile more, and I felt more present than I had in recent years. Living here has taught me how to redefine success. When I was in the US, it was about the grind, the next achievement, and this stupid external validation. But here, success looks like waking up in the morning without an alarm clock, feeling calm, being excited about your day, which I am every day I wake up, man. I don't use an alarm clock. I just get up, and every day I'm excited by getting up and going to work. And to be totally honest, this slower pace of life has helped me reduce my stress levels. I've let go of the hustle culture, and I've learned to appreciate even the smallest things and be more present in the moment and let go the need of always needing to be in control. And that's what happens to a lot of people who come over here, that it doesn't work out for them because they have this need to have this constant control over everything, things that they don't even have control over. They just want to wield their control. And me, if I don't have control over it, I let it go. And I control the things that I can control, and the things that I can't control, I pay it no mind. I've also learned that I do not need to run myself in the ground just to earn my rest. Rest is my right, joy is my goal, and peace is my priority. One of my most significant takeaways since I've been here in the last 4 years is my shift in mindset. I've been more open-minded, more tolerable, and less judgmental. And since I've learned that there are many different ways to live a fulfilling life, and that my previous way of thinking wasn't the only right way, because now I'm comfortable with uncertainty. I'm comfortable with change, and I've developed a deeper sense of gratitude just for the simple things. This move in itself has forced me to step out of my comfort zone. And in return, it made me more resilient, made me more adaptable, and it gave me a more happier version of myself. You see, I'm always smiling. So that is my story, how moving abroad has significantly changed my mindset and helped my mental health. And listen, it wasn't always easy, but it was worth the growth and the new perspective that I've gained. And listen to this closely. Moving abroad isn't for everyone. It's a journey full of ups and downs, but it has the potential to be transformative in your life. So don't think that you could just book a ticket and head to DR, Colombia, Brazil, Thailand, Philippines, or wherever, and that it's going to be the magic cure to all your problems, because it's not. But for me, it was the catalyst that I needed. It gave me a new lens. It gave me a new rhythm. It reminded me that life is not to be endured. It's meant to be lived. So if you're one of the ones out there and you're feeling stuck, then maybe, just maybe, it's time to change that scenery. And not just your physical location, but your mental environment. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know where you are in your journey and if you're thinking about making that big move. So let me know if you like content about living abroad and creating a life that feels good. Hit that like button, subscribe, and also drop that in the comment below. And remember, guys, always keep your goals at the forefront of your mind. Always live in the present, because that's the only way you're gonna live your best life. And I'm out. Peace.